Where were you at before you started with ECU? And at what point did you say, man, I really need some help?
So if you go back to about 2020, when peak of COVID, my company got severely affected by the pandemic to the point that they had to dismantle the team that I had. I was a global vice president over a team of 70 people. And I tried, with the outplacement services they provided, I tried to find a new job. And 6-7 months later, I came in second for so many opportunities. I've been through so many interviews, I've lost count. And I even had professional resume writer help me, rebrand myself and put my resume out there and update my LinkedIn and everything, right? And 6-7 months later, I still no bites. I had bites, but nothing firm and final. I got to a point where I was pushed to go back to a previous job I had. A friend of mine / ex-boss said, hey, if you're not able to find your perfect role right now, why don't you come back and work for me? We have tremendous growth and we could use your help. And I said, sure, I'll do it for a year. Made a 1-year commitment. And then next thing I know, it's almost 2 years later and I'm still there and I'm still not, even looking for my next dream job because I was burned before. Right? 7 months of rejection was really, really difficult. And it occurred to me that I can't try the same thing and expect different results. And then I heard about the ECU program. I looked into it and I was, I had a healthy dose of skepticism at first because it came through social media advertising and you never really know what's true or what's not on social media. So I did my fair bit of research. I looked into the Better Business Bureau. I looked for references, etc. I had several calls. I asked a lot of questions. And at one point I felt like, I've got to trust it. I've got to trust the system. It seems legitimate. I'm going to trust it. I'm going to take a leap of faith. And I am so glad I did. Starting from just making yourself believe in yourself. It's almost like after being burned for so many months, you kind of lose your self-esteem. You kind of lose sight of what you're capable of doing. Even though you might have done bigger things before, it seems like a distant past and you're starting to doubt yourself. So all the help that I receive in the program in terms of believing in yourself, putting yourself in the right mindset, approaching people with confidence, learning how to answer questions properly during the interview was a huge game changer for me. Robert knows that when we were practicing interviews together, he told me, he's like, yeah, that's a great answer, but to me, that's just like anybody else who would have answered that question. There was nothing special about it. So applying the learnings from the program in the real life situation, I think is what made a big difference. But before all of that could even start to pay off, I had one thing I had to do for myself. And I think that's probably true for everyone. It's probably the most important lesson learned is define who you are, define what you want. I came from a background of IT services. I had over 20 years of service experience across the board, whether it was ERP systems implementations, custom application development, cloud migration, managed service operations, you name it. I had touched everything to, a pretty significant depth. It was not just 1 mile wide, 1 inch deep. I had more in-depth expertise than that. But because I had done so many things, I didn't know who I was. And people did not know who I was. So they would see things on my resume and think like, oh, maybe we could interview this person for this job. And it either didn't fit my interest or it didn't fit my skill set. So there was a lot of time wasted. So I started thinking about, what do I really want to do, first of all? What is it that I have done that I would like to do again? And then it became clear to me that my brand, my value add, was all my international experience. I have worked all around the world. Can't even count the number of countries where I actually worked. And I started from scratch in several countries. I have been dispatched in the middle of crises when the operations were underperforming and clients were unhappy. So I was the guy that they trusted whenever there was a problem offshore or near shore with our service delivery centers. So I said, that's who I am. So I started making a list of all the different different countries and delivery centers where I had worked and what kind of work I had done. And then I met with our resume writer at ECU. A 30-minute call with her produced an entirely different resume that was 100% true. There was nothing exaggerated or incorrect. I don't know how she did it, honestly. I was blown away by the quality of the resume. And then after that, the LinkedIn update, is just kind of a reflection of your resume upgrade. And once I did that, I started getting leads, applying the networking and all the different approaches that we learned in the program. I was starting to get quality leads that were very relevant for what I wanted to do and in areas for which I had expertise. So it's almost like now, all of a sudden, I had fixed my brand issue. I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted. It was very clear on my resume and LinkedIn profile. It was a story, it was a trajectory, and it was very powerful. So when I started interviewing after doing the rounds of practice together, I knew exactly how to answer the questions in a way that would set me apart. And I was getting very, very positive feedback about how I presented, and I was getting invited to the next round and the next round.
Ultimately, what advice would you give to someone who is maybe considering, working with ECU?
Do your research, right? Look it up on the Better Business Bureau, find some references, talk to the company. I forget the name of the gentleman who was kind of helping me make the decision and enroll me in the program initially, but ask as many questions as you need. And then once you take the leap of faith and you join the program, then really take time to think about who you are, what is your brand, what is your value, what it is that you want from a job, what kind of job you want, what kind of role, and make sure that it's a coherent story.
Well, last thing is just give us a brief overview of your new role.
So I'm working for a professional services company. It's a $4 billion company, privately held here in Atlanta. It's headquartered in Atlanta. It's not really global at the moment. So they have, a lot of offices in the US, a few in Canada, and one in London only. And they want to expand globally. So I'm their new global strategy executive reporting to the president of the company. So I'm helping them figure out where to expand and to oversee the expansion once we agree on the strategy and the roadmap